Hi there, travel lovers. It's your trusted cruise and Tauck tour and safari expert, Shawn Power here. I wanted to talk to you today about a really fun topic for me, which is expedition cruises. Now, you may notice over my shoulder, I think you might be able to see a bit of ice floating by. So I figured, what better setting to talk about expedition cruises than when I'm on an expedition cruise ship. So I happen to be sitting here right now on the Silver Endeavour, which is one of Silversea's cruises, expedition cruises. They have 3 or 4 expedition cruises, and they go to places like the Galápagos, Antarctica, the Arctic, which is where I am now. There's other companies who do this as well. When it comes to the big cruise ship companies, Seabourn also has some expedition cruises, as does Virgin. And then there's lots of other small companies out there, Lindblad, Quirk, 3 or 4 different companies, well, probably more than 3 or 4. But the main ones I work with, because, I like to work with the big public companies. I just feel like can be trusted more financially and stuff. I feel a little safer with my clients' money going to those companies. Silversea, who I'm on now, Seabourn, and Viking are going to be the 3 main expedition companies that I work with and that my clients go on. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, because people say, what are expedition cruises all about? What's the difference between an expedition cruise and an ocean cruise? And I think the probably one word to sum it up is adventure. When you go on these, small ship expedition cruises, again, you're talking places like Antarctica, Arctic, Galapagos. There are some other areas, but that's definitely the main 3. One thing that you're going to find right away is that these are very, very small ships. On average, they seem to fit right around 200 people, maybe 250, and depending on the destination, like Antarctica, for example, you can't even have 200 people on board. That's really the maximum, but that's counting crew and naturalists and everything. So basically, you might have 170 or 80 clients on board. So these are small ships. I mean, even compared to the luxury small ocean cruises who have 6, 7, 800 on board, and of course, compared to the big ships that have thousands on board, it's a very different experience to be on a ship this small. So, like I said, being on a small ship is one of the things that's different. Also, when you're on a small ship, it's almost like a river cruise. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like a river cruise might just have one restaurant. So the ship I'm on now, which is called Silver Endeavour, it definitely has more amenities because there are, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4 restaurants that you can eat at night. But again, there's only like one very small lounge, just very basic entertainment in these lounges. They don't even really have much beyond the lectures, in the lounges, and maybe a little bit of music here and there. But there's not going to be any Broadway style shows, that kind of thing. So if you're looking for nightlife, this may not be for you. But again, it's all about the destination when you're doing an expedition cruise. So lectures I just mentioned is a big deal because you're going to learn about what you're going to see. So on this cruise, for example, there was just a lecture about seals a few minutes ago. Yesterday, I had some lectures on the birds in the area, as well as the glaciers. I'm sure there'll be a polar bear lecture coming up. When I was down in Antarctica, we had lectures on the whales and the penguins. And, whatever you're going to see, you're going to learn all about it. So that's one of the great aspects of expedition cruising is that you're going to learn a ton. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that these are much more casual than the ocean cruises. You can see I've just kind of got on a sweater here. Even if I went to dinner like this would be fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, there will be some people that'll bring the, sport coats and stuff because they want to dress up. Maybe they're, here for a special birthday or an anniversary or something like that. But if you just go to dinner with a nice casual collared shirt, a pair of, casual pants, you'll be fine. I mean, people aren't going around in their fanciest gear because, again, they're flying here with a lot of extra luggage to start with, like their sweaters and their outer pants and their gloves and hats and everything else. So it's very different that way. And again, the other part of the adventure is you're always off on Zodiacs. So I'll definitely show you some different videos of Zodiacs afterwards. A lot of people get a little bit intimidated, thinking, "Oh, how am I going to get off these little small boats and they're going to be too fast and whatnot," and they feel a little intimidated by those. So I did take some videos showing people getting off and on the Zodiacs. Is very simple. As long as you can, step on and off almost anything, you can get in and out of a Zodiac. Now, if you do have some serious mobility issues, maybe you're in a wheelchair or something like that, I don't think an expedition cruise is going to be for you because everything is by Zodiacs. You're not going off in a bus or anything like that. I mean, you're literally going on boat, to see everything pretty much. So do keep that in mind if mobility is an issue. You may need to, skip this cruise. But again, for anyone who's intimidated with these Zodiacs, you just need to be able to step on and off, and I will show some video afterwards. So like I said, these expedition cruises, they're really different than ocean cruises. I mean, they are very pricey. Also, keep that in mind because you're in some of the most remote parts of the world. So it costs these companies a fortune for permits to go to these places, to get food sourced in these places for the ship. There's so much more staff on board because I have a whole team of expedition people. I was, talking to the expedition leaders today, and they've got like 22 Zodiacs on this particular ship. So I mean, you can imagine all the staff they need to, to operate those. And these are all specialized people who are trained very highly. So like I said, the expenses are very different compared to just going to the Caribbean for a week, for example. So you're going to need to save a lot of money for these trips, but they are absolutely, once in a lifetime trips. I've personally been to the Galápagos and Antarctica, and now I'm on this Arctic cruise. And these are all absolutely fabulous, fabulous cruises. So like I said, if you have a sense of adventure, you want to go to places totally different, some of the most remote places on Earth, think about an expedition cruise for the future. Again, I happen to be on a Silversea expedition or a Silversea expedition cruise right now. The other companies who I have a lot of my clients are on are going to be Seabourn or Viking. So keep those companies in mind. There's some of the top ones out there. And beyond that, anything else you want to know about expedition cruises, leave me a comment below. Send me a message on my website, and I'll do my best to answer those for you. And beyond that, I'll definitely try to get some more videos from on this cruise of, like I said, the Zodiacs and the different animals we're seeing and the different, Zodiac cruises we're taking around the area. Hopefully you enjoy that and got a bit of value from it. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.